Oh, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to episode 756 of FloWrestling Radio Live on 2/22/2022. And this man, JD Raider.
All this news.
And this man, JD Raider, wears number 3, Dale Earnhardt. Respect to the king.
R.I.P.
Oh my God.
R.I.P. We got Ben Funky Askrens here. And plenty to get to as the regular season basically concluded on Sunday. But we got to start with the story of the weekend was, and I tweeted about it, and I think everyone was kind of talking about this, NCAA Wrestling's got a match-fixing problem that they've got to sort out and not wait for the rules committee or rules that NCAA's got to step in right now and put a stop to it. And they cannot count these matches. So here's what's happening. We have a cool thing now. We got a great thing with these extra countable matches. They're perfect. It's a good thing to have these. Give some backups some matches, maybe give some extra matches to guys who have missed time, et cetera, et cetera. It's all good. Everyone said this was a uniformly applauded decision to keep these after the COVID year. Like, hey, let's have these. This is a good thing. Well, you give a mouse a cookie, you give a wrestling coach a rule, and they're going to find a way to exploit it. You see it in match tactics, but now you're seeing it with these extra matches where guys are using these to get injury default wins. These are prearranged matches. Okay, so we had this in Kent State, SIUE. We had in Arizona State, Lehigh, where the coaches get together very obviously and say, hey, my guy needs an extra match. Can you put someone else against him for a 1-second injury default fake match? And they say, okay. And they conspire and they do this thing to boost win percentage, to give an extra countable match for RPI and allocations, et cetera, et cetera. They're doing this to get NCAA bids. They're doing this to get preferential seating potentially. They're doing this to help their guys get to the tournament. And when they get there, to get better seats. It is wrong. It is not why this exists. This is not something that is really even debatable. It goes completely outside why they created these. And the idea that a 1-second injury default could count for anything is wrong. And the fact that coaches are conspiring to do fake matches is wrong. And they've got to step in and say, hey, this doesn't count. It doesn't. And honestly, this is match fixing. They are rigging matches. It's like, it's not hyperbole. It's not being dramatic. We can be dramatic. I can be dramatic. This is not drama. You have two teams. You're on different teams. The coaches are saying, hey, let's rig a match. I'll rig one for you. You rig one for me. It'll be great. And that's what they did. You can't have it. It's just full stop. Can't do it. Can't have it. And I'll say it. Shame on the coaches. Shame on you. You shouldn't have done it. You shouldn't agree to it. But at the same time, NCAA
trying to win.
At the same time, don't hate the player, hate the game.
There you go.
And NCAA Wrestling, you made the game. You said, hey, these injury default 1-second things, they count for something. So you got to hate the game a little bit here too. And in which case, that's not good for wrestling. So you know what? I think nice try. We didn't think about this. Unintended consequences. NCAA step in, say these don't count, period. That's it. And then it'll never happen again. But if you count it, then we just look silly. So this should not factor into any decision. This should not benefit anyone for an allocation. This should not benefit anyone for a seed. It shouldn't have any benefit whatsoever. But it's being done because it will be a benefit. And that's too bad. But I think it's not too late. NCAA could step in, have some emergency act, and make it happen. But
so
it's not good.
Hey, let me ask you this. Because I agree, no pushback. But what is the actual rule? Is it so? If you'd implement a rule, would be no injury defaults count, no extra injury defaults count. Because what if there was a match and someone actually had an injury default at say 4 minutes? No injury defaults less than 30 seconds. Like, what is the actual rule that you would make?
I don't think injury defaults should count. I mean, what is the actual value? What is the value of a match that was so marred by injury that it wasn't able to conclude?
Well,
what's the actual value that it holds?
Isn't the trouble there that if someone could, I don't know, fake an injury and get out of the loss? and it doesn't count for the winning wrestler.
Yeah, that would be an unintended negative consequence of that. I think part of the problem is there's this problem in wrestling where people don't want to wrestle anymore, and entering matches is now viewed as a bad thing. And now you have all these people, and once the NCAA brackets come out, I want to run maybe like a last 15, 20 years, the decrease in matches. And you've got guys, they're doing this, for sure. 15 matches. It's not that hard to do. It's not that hard.
Yeah. I mean, I'm on record. Like I said, I would love to interview specifically on this topic, a Kale or someone like that, where they have had, because even going back to David Taylor, they probably only had a little over 30 matches. I don't think they ever got to 40 matches. Mm-hmm. And say, what you're thinking here, because I think, especially for younger guys, more matches is better. You get to go see what their flaws are. You get to see what they need to work on. So I think more matches, obviously, to a certain extent. You can't wrestle like 200 in a season or something, but you could get 40 easy. And I think and a couple tournaments to see what how they do over the course of a tournament. I think that all those things are really good.
Yeah. So I agree. I don't understand what happened that wrestling's now a bad thing to do more than once a month or whatever. But I think it probably is. And so I don't know. Matt Storniolo, he is never one to hold back his opinions, good or bad, and I think he's on the right side of this one. He said, and he was very critical of Coach Dresser's Last Chance Open, which they changed the rule because Coach Dresser, he had the tournaments where and teammates wrestled each other, and that was countable.
I thought you told me they're doing it again this year.
They did do it, but it was a legitimate tournament with other teams wrestling each other. It wasn't just Iowa State versus Iowa State to get your matches up.
Okay.
So they changed that rule, but there's still this other thing going on, which is a problem. So he says, make an agreement with another coach, which you predetermine the outcome of a match is nothing short of cheating. The NCAA wrestling needs to address this immediately before conference allocations are released. This is worse than point shaving. It is fixing matches. These matches affect
not even winning money on this.
Win-loss percentage, RPI, conference allocations, NCAA seeds. If the NCAA cares about the integrity of our sport/championship, they will rectify this immediately. Gotta agree with that.
Hey, so let's go back to my question. What is the actual rule that we would put? Because I'm all for this is dumb. I agree. But what's the actual rule we're gonna do?
1 second injury defaults shouldn't count. But here's the thing. Here's
so
why
is it more than 30? So they got to wrestle for 31 seconds then, or like
exactly.
would they do that?
Exactly. Or these coaches they got no shame. They'll just say, "Hey, go get pinned." Listen, hey man,
You think they would?
What's stopping them? This is a charade.
Ooh, that feels
oh,
like
that's too far. That's too
the
far.
Next level.
Yeah.
That's the next level.
That's
too
far.
Sure.
You think they wouldn't go that far? You think they wouldn't say, "Hey man, just go out, just lay down"?
I don't know. I feel like that's another step.
That really would be the misstep. They wouldn't send out their 1-11 guy, go out there. Hey man, you ain't really got to wrestle if you just want to go get pinned, so it counts. That's fine. It's no big deal. No one's watching. It's just an extra match. No one's around. It's fine. But why not? But why not? You think? Listen, look.
If you get your guys to do that, you deserve it.
I think they would. You're their coach. Go get pinned. Yeah, just go get pinned. It's fine.
Yeah, okay, so not that we were going to stuck on this forever, but is the and I obviously the qualification process is better than it's ever been, but is there something to do with the minimum winning because I feel like sometimes the 15 match minimum and the winning percentage thing, I feel like they're a little bit of a charade in the sense that you could have an outside body rank the top 33 guys without having 15 match minimum or knowing their winning percentage. Like we've seen these guys go against each other. We know where they're at, so I kind of feel like those things are a charade, which then leads to these type of behaviors.
Yeah, I agree. I think in its simplest form, allocation, the NCAA minimum match, whatever, I don't know if that's as important as, hey, who have you beat and who beat you? And that's how you figure out the top 33. But when you start gimmicking it with these, you need a minimum number of D1 matches, well, this is what's going to happen. And then it's like, all right, let me just beat any backup on any team of any weight class. Bump up your 25 to 41, have them weigh in, and then, I can just pin him or do a 1 second injury default, and that's fine. It should just be who you beat, who beat you, top 33.
Yeah, and that's the other reason why I said, like, I don't know why some of these teams aren't doing, like, or a lot of early season opens or something, so no one ever runs into this problem where they have to do extra matches in February. Like, there's open tournaments in November, December. Throw your guy out there, get his 15 matches and his winning percentage against a little lower level competition, and be good to go.
If you're so injured that you can't, between November 1st and late February, if you can't get 15 matches, then that's unfortunate. That's not good.
Mm-hmm.
But there's another option. Fortunately, you can go steal a spot at conferences, and that's fine. Go do that. Just go do that. And if you don't earn the allocation for your weight, then that is unfortunate too. If you were a worthy person, but if you're worthy, you will qualify at your conference tournament. And if you don't, you probably don't belong. And I think it's pretty simple. I mean, you get 33. How many D1 teams are there? 80. Almost half the field gets in. Yeah. So I don't have a ton of sympathy. I do have sympathy for the guys that are on the streets all season long. And then if someone, I mean, there's going to be a good thing is there's going to be a group of people who are going to look at these resumes, and hopefully there is a modicum of discernment involved, and they say, Jake Ferry, hold on. Wait a second. Man. 1 second injury default. Saul Irvin, 1 second injury default. Malik Hines, 1 second. Connor McGonigal, hold on. What is this about? No thanks. If it's a bubble, you're out. And the guys wrestling real matches are in. I don't know if it'll even come down to it. Some of these guys, I don't even know if they're bubble guys. But some of them are.
Yeah. So, I mean, when it gets down to it, this is like bureaucracy, where we're making these rules on who gets in, and then the coaches are trying to game it. And it's like, I just want to flip and wrestle. Like, why are we worried about all this bullshit? Let's just get down to it and wrestle matches. And that's I would almost be for, and I know we'll never do this, is like, first of all, the 33 qualifiers is stupid. Let's just do 32. 33 drives me insane. Why do we need 33? It's nonsense. Okay, let's do 32. It makes an even bracket. Everyone's happy. And do four regions of 8 and split the best teams up. And yes, obviously some weights are going to be kind of unbalanced a little bit. And hey, the 32 qualify. Like, I could definitely be okay with that. That way there's no gaming, there's no nothing else. You show up with your 10 starters, you wrestle, you take top 8, you're good.
Yeah, I agree.
Something like that.
Okay. Does the chat have anything to say on the topic? Are they team injury default?
They're not.
It's a pretty
injury default. It's a hard stance to take.
It's a pretty loaded group also.
You think?
Yeah.
I don't blame the coaches.
I don't blame. Well,
you got to change the rule.
But listen. As a man, there is at certain things. There's a time you got to draw a line in the sand, and they say, listen, I understand this could get me what I want, but there's just some things I'm not willing to do.
Yeah.
And I guess maybe I can't think of one in my life that I've done real recently, but I feel like I try to live my life that way. Like, I know this behavior could get me that thing, but I'm going to live my life as a man of principle, and I'm not going to do that.
Yeah. But the craziest take so far in these 15 minutes we've been in is that you guys don't think coaches would have their guys go out and just take a dive.
I don't know. That seems like another level of like.
You actually see it we've seen it in international wrestling.
When have we seen that?
In international wrestling, this happened.
There's always a reward for the guy that takes a dive, though.
Yeah, there's a reward. There's rewards.
No, they pay cash money though. But but that's not a coach telling them. That's the dude going to hand out cash envelopes.
True. I'm just saying. I mean, there's. The idea, it happens. There's incentive. Listening to your coach, there's an incentive.
I deal with a lot of high school kids, Christian, and I'm thinking about, like, what would it take me to convince this dude to go out and get pinned? Take one for the team. Like, I think that'd be hey man, go stand out there and let this other dude get his hand raised. I think that's pretty easy. Like, hey man, I just need you to go stand out there.
Yeah.
Get your hand raised. Let the dude get his hand. But to say, hey dude, you got to go out there and you got to go to your back and get decked. Like, I'm having a hard time getting that one through.
How you feel about Brady Berge wrestling the same guy twice this weekend?
I mean, that's better.
matches.
That's better. And it's also a guy
Yeah.
that hasn't wrestled much this year, so there's benefit there. I mean, at least there's a match, right? And I don't know that even that match is going to help him get to the minimum threshold either. He's going to be on the bubble to get that because of how few matches he's been able to wrestle, and it'll basically be determined by his Big Ten path. So I think that's probably more about mat time, similar to Kirkfleet last year. Against Maryland, he got a couple extra matches there, but that wasn't for anything other than giving him more opportunities to wrestle, I believe.
Yeah.
I don't think it helped that. How about this? Speaking of that, we saw a slightly different thing in the Maryland American duel.
Okay.
Anthony Artelona wrestled an extra countable match. Now, Anthony Artelona, he's not on American or Maryland. He wrestled.
Wait, you can do that?
Apparently so. He wasn't. So a pin wrestler wrestled extra matches in the American Maryland duel because they were there. They were wrestling the next day, I guess, at American. But it's just, I mean, it's fine. Why not? But,
Hey, so let me just, because I see a few people in the chat. Let me just speak on the thing we said about not wrestling a lot of matches. Now, I think it's probably preferable for kids to wrestle a lot of matches. And then the pushback would be, well, obviously, Kale does great, so I'm not arguing. He knows what the hell he's doing. He's a genius. I'll give you that. And then international wrestlers like Sage Eliav don't wrestle that much. And I'll give you that. He's a genius. I wouldn't question his methods at all, right? I see the results. But if we're going to continue that logic, then that means we should never, ever wrestle any matches. And no one ever would argue the best way to develop a kid is having them wrestle almost no matches. I can tell you that's not going to work, right? From a very young age. We're not going to have them wrestle barely any matches. It's a bad way to develop. We're not going to make that argument, right? We know competing is going to help them develop. And obviously, I rage on like little kids, say 11 and under, competing too much and the negative consequences of that. So there obviously is a sweet spot somewhere. And that's where I would love to have that conversation with, Kale or some of the other guy, John Smith, about, when is that period where you need to develop them by giving them a lot of matches and putting them in the competition and getting them better versus, maybe there's injuries and they're getting older and we need to only use them for the really important matches. Because, obviously no one's going to say, yeah, Sage Eliav should go do 50 matches next year because he needs to develop a little more. Right. I mean, that's a really stupid argument to make. So, but there is a point in there where that's important.
Yeah. And there is a point. I mean, to me, it's like you are a wrestler. So to be a wrestler is to wrestle, is to compete, is to do these things. Whereas the sweet spot is,
Shakespeare said that one time.
He did. That was in Hamlet.
Being a wrestler is to wrestle.
Yes. Yeah. Hamlet. Okay. So that's match fixing. It's really not a ton. There's not many takes to get off about it. It's sort of a cut and dry situation.
Everyone knows it's bad. Yeah.
There's not a lot of nuance. These coaches know it's dirty politics. Right, but
I don't.
You don't like dirty
the
wrestling
worst thing ever. I'm not.
Well, there's like ISIS. That is way worse. But like in wrestling, this is cheating.
God.
It is match fixing.
But it's not cheating. It's by the rules.
No, I bet you're not allowed. You're not allowed to predetermine a winner in a match.
That's it. You're not allowed to predetermine.
I bet that's cheating. That's cheating.
It's a gray area.
Coaches
evidence that they should fix the rule.
Yeah, I don't know. It is interesting that we have all these things that are good, like injury default. Like you shouldn't have to finish a match if your leg's broken, right? We all agree that's probably a good thing. But then, so this kind of makes me think about the conference tournament, where we're probably going to see a multitude of guys go there and take 1 second injury default matches because you have to take them at conferences to go to NCAAs. And that
you think so?
Oh, we see it every year. I mean,
really? I feel like there's some guys who are like actually really hurt, like they actually can't wrestle.
They are.
So I guess that. Oh, so then your argument is if they can't wrestle at conference, they shouldn't be able to wrestle at NCAAs.
That would seem wise
Fair.
to me. I mean, Nick Suriano with his broken ankle, Mekhi Lewis. Mekhi at least wrestled some at NCAAs afterwards.
Tried, yeah.
He made it to the quarters and then had to default out. But it would stand to reason if you can't wrestle at conferences, you probably shouldn't take a spot.
That'd be another one where, like, in my scenario where you have to earn your spot, it's like it's cut and dry. Did you earn it? Like, so for example, if, like, say at Wisconsin high school sectionals, well, this happened to me, right? I got hurt in the sectional finals. I was still able to win the match, and so I had earned my spot. And now I didn't wrestle all that. I tried to wrestle. I didn't wrestle all that successfully. But if someone earns their spot and is hurt, they should be able to go compete if they choose to go compete, right? But you're saying they're not earning their spot. They're having their spot given to them because of previous standing despite their injury.
And that's what's tough, because do you want an entire regular season to be nullified by a bad conference tournament? Like, that stinks too, right? Guys, if you tear it up and then you go 0-2 at conferences, should you not go?
Yeah.
That is tough to weigh, and I understand that, and that's why we have.
But that's also safe. If you go into a national, should you not be an All-American if you were the number one seed?
Exactly. No, you shouldn't. But you could. You were in 2020 potentially, because who knows how you would have done.
Yes, this is true.
Okay. Hey, it's a big week in wrestling. I know you're saying, is it really? Well, yes.
Wait, for what?
Because
Wisconsin State Tournament. You guys are coming. I knew you guys were coming to the Wisconsin State Tournament.
No, because there's bigger fish to fry, because we got the Texas Youth State Tournament is this week. Listen, Caleb Piles is so fired up for this tournament. It's I have some things to report. So Ron, he's asking about his bracket. How many people are in it? I was like, well, you can actually look. You can kind of see. So we go to his little bracket, you see he's got this many guys. We go to track wrestling.
How many? How many is this many guys?
Right now it's 5 right now. But
it's not very many.
It's not very many. Okay, so
registration's not closed yet.
It's not closed. We got till Saturday.
Got it.
So
got it.
he's like, can you see my results on here? I'm like, yeah. So I show him. He's like, so he's looking at that, and then we end up on his profile page on Track Wrestling, and he goes, and all of a sudden, I didn't even think about this. He goes, what? They're rating me 2.5 stars? And
don't even get me fired up, Piles. This is one of my.
So I'm like, dude. I was like, no, man. I was like, this means nothing. It's like, it's literally an automated thing. They don't know. So then he's like, he's fired up about this. He thinks it's funny. And then he's like, click on this guy. It's someone he beat. He's like, he's 3 stars? He's like, I beat him. He's like, this doesn't make any sense. So he's all fired up for the state tournament. And then before he's going to bed, he was like really hyper. He's like, Dad, if I win, you've got to get me a singlet. I swear he said this. On the front, you got to order me a singlet. It says, on the front, it says yeet. And on the back, it says brah. He's like, you have to get me a headgear.
What does that mean?
Says,
what is yeet brah? I'm not.
I don't know. The kids say yeet. I don't know.
What does that mean?
I don't know. Like, I don't know.
Y-E-E-T?
Yeah. You don't know.
I'm gonna look it up.
It's like.
It just means yes. It means yes.
It's like an exclamation of sorts. And he wants to say bra on the back. And then he wants headgear. He's like, and I want headgear that says sup on both of the ears. I'm like, all right, Caleb, we're not doing this. Just saying.
Oh my gosh. Hey, Christian, this is one of my, I am so annoyed by this. Track, so it really rates you based on kind of your age and who you're around, you know?
Yeah.
But to me, that's so ignorant. It's so ignorant. So like, what track should really do is youth wrestlers, you can't get above like 2 stars. Because listen, you suck. You're a youth wrestler.
Caleb's 2.5, bro.
Hold on. You
can fight him.
There's some of them that are 5. I get it. It's effing stupid. You should be able to have like a maximum like 2, right? Or something. Because like Sadulayev, now that's a 5-star guy right there. That's a 5-star. Jordan Burroughs, 5 stars, right? So international level wrestlers, you can get up to like 4 or 5. College, maybe you can get to like 3 or 4. High school, you can get to like 2 or 3. Youth, like 2 and under. You can't have a freaking, because this is the way to do it, right? You can't have a youth wrestler that's 5 stars and then have a college wrestler that's like 1.5. Like, give me a flipping break. This is freaking ignorant. It's so ignorant.
You could be 5 stars for your age.
Yeah, but it's for your age. So
it shouldn't be. We should rate wrestlers on how they wrestle.
Yeah, well, it
gives them a good perspective of like, although I'm good compared to other 11-year-olds. When we're talking about wrestling, I'm kind of not that good. I got a long way to go here. I got a big hill to climb.
And now, okay, so here's a predicament I find myself in. All right, help me out. Let me.
Give your kids steroids.
I keep Well, HGH is not a steroid, so, but we can. It's semantics. No, so all right. So I have a quest to not be that wrestling dad, but here, in the very first tournament, I had him enter. I had double entered him, which is a classic wrestling dad move. Okay, now here's where we are. Here's the next trial and tribulation. So I entered him at the weight. So I about a month ago, I started like weighing him just to understand how it's fluctuating.
Yeah, this one's interesting.
So he's like 74, 75, 76 every now and again, but mostly 74, 75. Okay, this dude's grandparents so he's entered at 75 plus 1, which is 76 for this Saturday. So his grandparents have been in town, and so that means we're eating out, we're doing all this stuff. Extra feed, extra ice cream. So yesterday, this heavy Chevy weighs 77.6. So now he's over. So now I'm like, okay, so what are we going to do here? So now
see what he weighs in the morning.
So after practice, he was down to 76.2. So he's like in the range. Yeah. But it's like on Saturday when he may be a little bit over, and may have to bundle him up and get him down just a little bit.
You're gonna make him cut? My daughter's never. I'll tell you, I'm doing the same thing. My daughter's gonna wrestle in regionals. She has never done a tournament where you had to make a weight class, and she's like 55.5 or 56 every single time she gets on the scale, and the weight class is 55. So it's like, I'm just gonna let her wrestle whatever she weighs in at. Like, I'm not gonna worry about, hey, I'm gonna bundle up and make her lose half a pound or make her not eat all day. If it happens to be 55, we're 55. If not, hey, we'll go up. We'll wrestle some bigger girls.
Well, yeah, that's my quandary. So now it's like kind of a whole thing to change weight. It's like whatever. It's a little bit of a process. So it's like, well, do we keep him at the do one workout and he's on?
Yeah, I understand. Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? So it's like, all right.
So maybe if there's a way, I think about if there's a way to do it without letting them know they're doing it. Like, hey, let's go get an extra workout in, or let's go work out together, or something like that, where they don't really know what. Hey, we're actually gonna eat after the weigh-ins. Mom's gonna meet us. We're gonna,
that's what I'm doing.
We're gonna go after the weigh-ins, not before the weigh-ins. Just so they don't they're not gathering everything, and you're kind of
So
it goes the right way.
He's kind of an obsessive kid, so he knows that he has to weigh 76 at this point. So it's in his mind. So I was like, listen, don't do anything different. I said, stop eating desserts, because you're not going to wrestle as well if you're eating that stuff, and it's going to make it. So
fair.
I think we're just going to cut out the desserts and see where we're at when we get Saturday. And if he's 78 pounds, I won't cut him down a little bit. Who knows?
Hey, our parents are. Our parents. People are getting annoyed to listen to us be parents and wants to talk about Iowa versus Nebraska or NC State versus Virginia Tech.
Oh, poor babies. I'm sorry. Oh, we're not.
They want to talk about double thigh prize.
Tristan
Moran was texting me about double thigh prize yesterday.
Who was?
Tristan Moran.
Who was doing double thigh prize recently?
Oh my God, come on, dude. And there was a really funny question. I'm not going to be able to find it because my mentions are too long. But he said something like,
Flex.
So he said, on a scale of 1 to 10, how much stalling was there in that match? 1 being the least, 10 being the most. And given the fact that you know which match I'm talking about, it's an 11.
What match are you talking about?
There wasn't me. I didn't ask the question. It was some dude on Twitter. And he was talking about Cassiope. Oh, he said he's in the third period. It was Cassiope versus Lance.
Okay.
Oh, did he find it? You found it?
Yeah, there it is.
Nice.
Man, I don't know. When I watched it, I was like, when he went down, I was like, he's gonna get written out here. I felt pretty sure of that. I don't know.
Yeah, I thought it was highly likely.
So okay, well, double thigh prize. Yeah, did double thigh prize suddenly become an unstoppable move from the top position?
Cassiope's exceptionally good at it. Like I said, usually you double thigh prize and then you chop or whatever, right? Holy moly, I've never seen anyone stay in double thigh prize so long. He's exceptionally good at putting his hands in someone's thighs and pressing his hips forward.
Oh gosh. Ben had a hard time getting through that sentence.
What? I didn't see that one. I didn't mean to say that, but that's what he's doing. Oh my God!
It's not. It can't be. You had a move that's called the impossible to stop move. I remember this. I'm pretty sure.
Man.
But this,
Wow.
is this the new unstoppable, impossible to stop move, the double thigh prop?
I don't know. I mean, for against him, against one person, he's really good at it. I don't know what he's doing. I don't know. Is he just so beefy, I guess, or something? I'm not sure what the deal is.
He's good at it. So let's talk about this duel. There were a lot of big duels. This was a big one, and
This is a good one.
It got bigger afterwards, right? A lot of them were big in the hype leading up. The results in this and how close this duel was made it even more interesting because
for sure.
Drake Ayala wrestled, so not out till Big Tens. He wrestled. I thought he looked pretty good, and he was attacking the side of his injury, which I think is a good sign, right? Like he was shooting his sweep underneath Reno. Reno popped off on a double, and he immediately got away and got 2 more takedowns, which I thought was a good sign. Chad Red gets the opening takedown against Jaden, but couldn't hold him off. Jaden wins. No Max Murin. So Murin misses both Gomez and Lovett. He wrestled G.
But he wrestled in the middle of them.
Yes. He wrestled in the middle.
That's annoying.
But it's to his detriment, in my opinion, in the...
Why, you think it'll hurt his seed?
Well, it's going to hurt it. So
He doesn't get the ability to raise his seed.
So he's going to probably be a 4 or 5. I think he's going to be the 4. If he had beaten Ridge, which he's done, he would be opposite Sasso, and he would have Gomez in the semi. Instead, he's going to be in the 4-5 quarter, which is probably like someone good, like Yaya, and then a Sasso semi, which I know he gave Sasso a match, but he's not going to be favored there. So whereas he's a reasonable shot at a Big Ten finals. I think he matches
on the
up
other
good
side.
On the other side. So it's not beneficial for him to miss these matches. It's not good. And Vince Turk filled in pretty well. I mean, Ridge only beat him 3-1. I think we all know that.
Ridge has some serious. So I really enjoy watching Ridge wrestle, but he has some serious limitations in the fact that he struggles to go get his own points.
Yes.
And that really harms him because Turk obviously wasn't going to take any extra risks he didn't need to because of how good Lovett is in those scrambles. But Lovett struggles to go get his own points. That's something. If he's going to be really good, he's got to figure it out.
Yeah, I agree. I thought that was apparent. And then Vince Turk, a lot of talk about him after this week just because he showed how tough he was again in this match, and he's
done after this year, right?
He's done. Yeah, he's done.
Okay.
I think, although, maybe just eligibility is just a mindset at this point, just wherever you want to be. However you're identifying that year is you can wrestle. So that was notable to not see Murin because I was looking forward to that match and Turk wrestles and falls.
Yeah.
157. Not yet, Sion. For the love, we got a lot to talk about.
No, see how we are.
No,
yeah, we get on business.
No, not
you
now.
Don't get entrance music today.
You said last
don't
10
get
minutes.
entrance music.
This is me kicking Sion out. Let it be documented. You can hold it against me. So Young beats Rob, and this was a good match, and a win that I thought Caleb Young actually looked the best I'd seen him look in this match.
Good,
and it kind of reinforced what you were saying about Peyton just not since beating O'Connor and haven't given Carr the scare. Kind of hasn't materialized into anything else.
What seed is he going to be at Big Ten's? Kind of low, right?
Not high. But something happened here, and maybe it's just my whatever. Maybe I'm the only one that watched this and thought this is bad.
I didn't think it was a huge deal.
It's probably not a huge deal, and because it didn't impact the match. But here's what happened, and we can't show it. But Caleb Young turns Peyton Robb. He gets a 2 count. He's got the bottom leg kind of turked and trapped. Takes him over with kind of like a claw. Holds him, gets the 2 count, and then he's still in the hold. No near fall gets awarded. And then, but because the ref is saying same hold.
Yeah.
So he's just kind of sitting on the foot, sort of waiting for near fall to get awarded. And the ref hits him for stalling and awards the 2 near fall. Which to me, if he's in a pinning hold, which is what the ref is saying, he's in a pinning hold, you can't hit him for stalling. Or you could award the 2 and stalemate it. Or you could award the 2 and let him work a different turn. But you can't hit him for stalling if you're saying he's in the same hold. And I know it didn't impact the match, but that doesn't matter because it could impact another match. It could have impacted this match. It didn't, but it could have. And it's a bad rule.
So,
and that's not how it should be interpreted.
I mean, what I'll say on that is, so I agree with you. Probably stalemate would have been the best call there. But it's stupid. There's a lot of stupid calls. When someone traps the foot to the butt, I actually exceptionally hate it in high school and youth wrestling because a lot of times the guys don't even understand what they're doing. It's just like it happens in a scramble. The heel gets trapped against the butt, and the top guy doesn't even know how to get off it. They're not even paying attention, you know?
Yeah.
And then 5 seconds stalling. So that thing is called like it's dumb, but it's called like every single time. So that's kind of, you know, when I watch it, it's like that's what they call every time. It's dumb, but that's what they do.
Yeah, award the near fall, then get down to calling the match. But if you don't award the near fall, he's in the same hold apparently. Marinelli beats Wilson 8-2. Surprise, no bonus there, but you know, Bull rolls on. Labriola Kimmer. This is the match of the.
This was it. One.
Huge match. Some great scrambles.
Yes.
Watching it, I kind of felt like Kimmer left a lot of points out there, and especially on when he had the near side cradle bend, it looked like he could be able to get the pin.
Well, Labs came through it really nice.
Yeah. So what happened there? Break it down.
Well, can we play it? Can we play it or no?
No, we'll go to jail.
Oh, son of a! I don't think we'll go to jail. I don't think they'll do shit. There's
a tweet, but I don't know which exchange it is.
Oh
just
man,
Labriola being so
okay.
hyped.
Yeah, I mean, I think if I remember correctly, Labriola pops his head through, and then right there. Now this is where he almost held him on his back, and you said the time was expired, that one was definitely close. And this one, I thought he definitely held him on his back for at least a 2 count. And you guys disagreed, but I think that one for sure was a 2 count. I don't
necessarily disagree. I could see why no near fall were given there. You know, it was definitely close. It's all on when the 2 was given and when, because Kimmer does roll through pretty soon after. But it's a huge win. It throws a big monkey wrench in Big Ten seeds and NCAA seeds. Because 74 was really the story here. What did you take away from that match moving forward, Ben?
I didn't think so. We've been really impressed. We, and me included, have been really impressed with Kimmer this year. And I didn't think Labriola had it in to beat him because Labriola. But I'm just laughing about the transitive property of wrestling. We can go like Mark Hall. We can get all the way down to at least Luke Geog, but we could probably go a lot further with that one. It'd be really funny to say this guy's greater than Mark Hall. You guys know what I'm saying, right?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So I mean, Labriola can wrestle with him. That was a good match, and like there were some really good scrambles. I actually thought Labriola had 2 more points probably, and it does make the seeding harder because that means those 2 are gonna, he's gonna have to beat him in the semis of Big Tens before he gets to Staraki. Or wait, hold on, is Massa going to be the 2?
Massa's going to be.
What's going to happen there?
I think it's going to be Carter 1, obviously. Logan Massa 2. Labriola, I think, will get the 3. I think the 9.
Despite losing to Nine House,
fair or not,
they both have 1 loss, and he has the head-to-head.
Yeah, fair or not, even though that's like a way worse loss, that's not how they're going to look at it, in my opinion. I think they're going to say, no, he won the head-to-head, so he gets.
What do you mean they both have 2 losses?
Well,
because Labriola's lost to Nine House and Massa, and Kimmer's lost to Labriola and Staraki.
Yes.
Okay.
So that'll put Kimmer on the 4, and it'll also give him I believe it'll give him Ethan Smith in his quarter,
which is a tough match too.
It's a tough quarter, and then winner gets Starachi, and then winner of that probably gets Massa or Labriola. So it has huge impact on Big Ten seeding, and then also in 174 we had a Ranker's Delight where Lout beats Hidley. Hidley beats Lewis, and previously Lewis has beaten Lout. Now I think you start with. On Friday, it was Friday. Hayden was up 3-0, I think, working for another takedown, and he kind of gets. It was sort of like a Dylan Ness high flyer type of motion that Lout gets the pin, and then so that was a huge upset.
That was a very tight high flyer, very nice. We have very well executed.
We got the clip of Hidley getting pinned, and then in the off
We
discussed.
playing it or no?
I don't know.
Okay.
The off
here we go.
discussed. Here. No, that's not.
No,
it.
this is Mackay. This was kind of a boring match. We kind of had
Extremely
a
boring match.
trap door.
I kind of thought it would be too. I was kind of not surprised. I was like, because what's Mackay? Re-attack. That's his specialty. He's not gonna pepper you with a ton of leg attacks unless he really outmatches you. And then Hayden, really, he's so much from the underhook that I didn't think he would get there. So what happened was, and this was how I interpreted the match, nothing happened. No one really wanted to try anything. As Mackay got more tired, the underhook opened up for Hayden, which he was trying to get to the whole match, but really wasn't able to until late. And then this arm spin where he takes it all the way through is really, really good. It's a really good attack that Hayden has taken down Jordan Burroughs and Mackay Lewis with this attack. So it's a pretty strong attack. Yeah, it's probably pretty good. And that's how he's able to get the takedown. And now, honestly, he didn't finish off the initial spin. It's like he ended up on the leg, and it took a little bit to get the finish, but he ended up getting it. So that.
How are they going to go ACAs? Well, 1, 2, and 3. How's it going to go?
Well, obviously, how conferences play out will have a huge impact. But
No, I mean at seeding 4 conferences, 1, 2, and 3. Lewis, Hidley.
I would assume that it would be Hidley 1, Mackay 2, Lout 3.
That is my assumption. They all have a case. I think you fall back. Common sense would have you fall back on the national rankings when you have a 3-way split like this in the ACC and say, okay, well, Hayden's the one because he beat the nationally a higher ranked guy than Lout. I think that's a pretty obvious way to seed it, and I think that's how it should be seeded. They all have basically an identical case, so you should fall back on that, in my opinion. So, and then that conferences will really have a huge say in how the seeds, obviously. Strachey wins out, and Kimmer, and this is already a very interesting weight, and now these results are going to make it even crazier as they have some considerations.
Yeah.
But back to the Iowa-Nebraska match, because after Labriola wins, you're like, okay, there's sort of a path here for Nebraska, sort of, not really.
A little bit.
So Vince, then he pin slays Abe Assad with probably the nicest technique I've seen all week.
Well, he got taken down and ridden for a little bit, and you were thinking so if you look at his wrestle stat, he lost 5 of his last 7, so he's not been on a hot streak at all. And you're thinking damn, Taylor Vance almost beat Anthony Valencia. Wait, no, Zahid Valencia.
Zahid
almost.
He
what
did.
the hell happened to this guy? He's freaking 2-5 in his last 7, and then he just does something like this. Tyler, play the music. Can we play it? It's got to be in a tweet somewhere. It's got to be in a tweet.
What are you talking about?
No, the technique.
Play the music.
The technique.
I think he's probably looking for music. So he hits this beautiful outside step and to a body lock, and he bombs Abe Assad to his back.
It was so nice.
It was so nice. And
yes.
for Assad, it looked insanely painful because he wasn't able to brace his fall. He landed basically right on his head.
Splat.
Schultz beats Warner again, which, further cements in my mind Schultz is a super viable title contender here and should be ranked really high.
Man, let me ask you this question because I was thinking about this. Can I ask you a question?
Yeah, I'll allow it.
If Warner only had to wrestle 2 periods, what would his record be?
It would be improved.
I think would he be undefeated? I think he'd be undefeated if he only had wrestled 2 periods. Because this man, he struggles with a 3rd period. He's probably in his own head about it right now.
I think he is in his own head probably a little bit because I don't.
Yeah.
So he has 3 losses. Well, 2. He had a medical forfeit. That doesn't count. He lost to Bastida.
No, 3.
Oh no, he does have 3. Dean, Bastida, Schultz. Bastida, I can't actually remember. He did get taken down late in that. He must have been winning.
Yeah, I think it was.
And then Bastida went neutral. But maybe it was 2-2.
It was 2-2. It was probably 2-2.
Yeah. But yeah, he definitely lost that match in the 3rd period. Dean, of course, we know how that one went. And Schultz here with the late takedown. I think it's one of those situations. It's not like he shouldn't be able to wrestle 7 minutes. These guys all train hard. It's probably something in his head more than anything.
Yeah.
But he can definitely. He's a contender, right? But
now I don't know. Like now after watching this, like watching him try to close out this third period was like, dang, dude. Like, yeah, I don't know. Like, because we talked about how deep 197 was. Like, he's gonna have a tough match. First round, second round, like it's early. He's gonna have a really tough match really early, and he's gonna have to grind every single one out. And it's not like he's gonna put big points up on the board against any of these dudes. It's like, yeah, I don't know. I'm struggling seeing him win that many matches in a row.
yeah, remember he had the loss at NCAA's his freshman year. I think he ended up wrestling back to place. But he was an upset loss to a Cal Poly guy. Was his name Tom Sloan? Did I make up that name?
Oh no, that's right. No, Thomas Lane. You're right.
Lane.
Yes. But that, I mean, listen to these names though. I mean, just compared to this year. Okay, I'll read that. That was 2019. I'll read you the
round
whole.
2.
I'll read you every opponent he had that year. Ready for this?
Mm-hmm.
Drew Phipps, Thomas Lane, Tanner Orndorff, Josh Roteman, Josh Hokett, Tom Slay, Ben Honus. Like, compare that to the current crop of 197s.
100%.
It's not really comparable.
Completely agree.
Yeah.
Agree. So,
hey, can I keep beating the drum on something? Because I think honestly, I think we're affecting the way things are being called. The push outs from the top position. I saw more stall calls this weekend than I've seen maybe the entire season combined when the top man pushed the bottom man out, including Keegan O'Toole. Keegan, you deserved it, you stalling son of a gun. Listen, there is no other reason. Almost by definition, if I'm the top man and I push the bottom man out of bounds, I am in fact stalling. I am stopping the action from happening by pushing it out of bounds. That's stalling. There's no other way to define that. And we're seeing this as a major tactic. I probably saw 4 or 5 stall calls on it this weekend, which I was very happy to see. We got to keep calling stalling. And you know what? The worst one, take this even a step further. The bottom guy knows he can't go out of bounds because otherwise he has to go back on bottom, right? Mm-hmm. It sucks. So the bottom guy resists as they get the edge. The top guy then trips them. And then the bottom guy is out of bounds. The top guy is keeping his foot in. The bottom guy crawls out of bounds. And then the coaches are like, he's stalling. He's crawling out of bounds. Like, oh, God, you guys are idiots. I know well, they're not idiots. It's almost unethical because they're pretending something's happening that they know is not happening.
Right.
Yes.
I am like, Top Wrestling has like jumped the shark for me in terms of wrestling conversation. I'm so tired of talking about the top
but
wrestling.
It's still happening, Christian. The thing it's negatively affecting matches. So this is our job, is to talk about things that we don't like.
Yeah, and I think that's what's lost in the all of our complaints about the top wrestling and the stalling. It's all with the NCAA wrestling end product in mind, and that it be a good product. And
yes.
Watching
100%.
Guys shove each other out of bounds from the top position and gimmick it and drop down to legs and turn top wrestling into a leg attack finishing contest is not good for the sport. It's boring wrestling. Yes. That's what it's about. It's not about how you win a match. Everyone knows that if you're a turner on top, it is a massive advantage in the sport of wrestling, and that is a good thing. No one is arguing that. The whole argument is this good? Is this a good product? And do people think about the product?
Yes.
And I don't expect wrestlers to think about the product because their job is to win. That's
correct.
why outside factors and forces and leadership have to say, no, this is a bad product and we have to change this. And it's outside the spirit of what the sport is supposed to do and reward.
Yeah. And this is just like what the coach, and we're talking about the coaches earlier, like, here's the rules. They're taking advantage of it. How do we change the rules in so which they can't game them to their advantage? It's literally kind of like the same thing. So, yeah, referees, if you're listening at all, and I know some of you probably are, keep calling. When they push them out of bounds, that's freaking stalling. Call them for stalling. They will stop. Listen, we can stop this almost immediately. If you start calling the top man for stalling when they're pushing them out, they're gonna stop pushing them out of bounds, and it's gonna force wrestling to happen within the circle.
Yep.
Simple.
Yeah, there's a bunch of new little gimmicks. The drop down is now like the 4 second and wait to kick my foot out of bounds when it gets to 4.
Oh, so dumb.
Or wait till 4 and then work up on 4. I'd hit them.
It'd be so awesome if you call them on like 3 and they're like, but it wasn't 5. I get till 5 to stay here.
Yeah.
Like, shut up. I know what you're doing. Boom.
That's
Take that.
stalling.
Get your ass back to center. Let's go. Wrestle.
Cut that promo. I'd be fired day one because I'd be
3.
calling it.
Boom.
I know what you're doing.
We know what you're doing.
Everyone knows what you're doing. We're all watching.
We all know.
2, 3,
It's wrestling smart.
4.
That's
Okay.
wrestling smart.
It's yeah, I know, but
Oh, you
hit
can't
him on
take it
3.
for 3 seconds.
3
Hit
seconds.
him on
No.
3.
Can't take him holding onto a leg
No,
for 3 seconds.
Listen, with this is the JD. This is all what we're talking about. These automatic 5-second things. They're arbitrary. You made up this 5-second thing. Stalling should just be called when stalling's happening. And if you're trying to game the 5-second by only going to 4, you know you're stalling, but you get till 5, so you stay till 4. It's freaking stupid.
Yeah, and people stall for 4 seconds all the time. If you run away the last 4 seconds of a match, no one's going to call you for stalling.
Boom,
But
stalling.
you do it.
Stalling. Just call it.
You should. That just happened against. Listen, I even said it was okay. It happened to Rocky Elam. He got called twice for stalling in 9 seconds, and I said,
Oh,
"Oh
yeah,
yeah,
he did.
he deserved it.
He did.
He deserved it."
Well,
And he
should have been called earlier.
He got called,
so it didn't have to.
And he
be,
got called in exactly 4 seconds.
Yeah.
13-second whistle blew. By 9, he was hit, and then he got hit
Yes.
as time expired. Rightfully so.
Yes.
Virginia Tech and NC State also wrestled. We sort of mentioned it with the
Yeah,
highly
you don't want to
booked-
bring it up because Virginia Tech got the butt kicked.
Yeah, they did not win. And some of the marquee matches ended up not being all that great. The Highly Bowling match was decided by a penalty point. I'm so tired of the. Why are people still doing this? Listen, Ben, I don't want to hear you say no one ever got hurt at this move. I don't care about that.
This move's stupid. But yes, I don't know why people are still doing it.
Stop
It's freaking
doing it,
stupid.
guys. Gang.
Stop
Hey,
doing
everyone,
it. They
stop
call
doing
it
it
all the time.
There are so many ways to mat return someone without turning around and pulling them over your foot. Okay, just get a new one.
Stupid call though. It's a
Because
stupid call.
all you're doing, you're getting these wrestlers, these refs putting on their thing and watching it and freeze framing it and finding that space, and they're getting hit for 1. Just stop
Your
it.
foot's off the ground
Stop
by
the
1
stupid
centimeter.
breakdown. There's other ways to break guys down. There's other ways to get guys out of the mat, or just let them up. You're literally losing matches. You're losing points. And every coach in America is just like, every time they're reaching, they're just watching, brick in hand,
I know.
brick in hand. Okay, you did it. Boom. And you can't wait. And it's just dumb. It's just like, it's not. You don't want matches to be decided this way. Just stop this. Stop the return, because it's bad. Okay. Latona, I guess, is just only ever going to beat Jay Camacho. I mean,
He's back.
he's back, man.
Called it.
I think I called it too, actually.
I didn't call
No,
it.
you had Camacho.
No. Oh, I'm such a fraud.
Yeah, hey, guess
I
what?
called
JD
Mackay.
finally. It took him 14 weeks, but JD won a week finally.
Woo!
I beat you too, Christian.
I know, but I'm still
back, baby.
still in first place. I'm still a top seed going into
I think
conferences.
you're actually the regular season winner because I think we got to do this other things a little differently. Unfortunately,
I'm the 1 seed at Big Ten. Yeah, I don't know how we're going to do this. I mean, there's plenty to predict.
I think we got to call you the regular season winner. But JD JD won week 1, and that was the only week he won.
I think that was like two. It was like there were like 2 picks that week.
Yeah, that wasn't
yeah, it
much.
was. Yeah.
Then we started really challenging ourselves, and the cream rises to the top.
JD won the last week. He knew how to get it done.
Good job, JD.
How to start and finish.
That's right.
That's all that matters.
That's right. March is all that matters. So some of the bigger matches there. Hidley beats Bolin 2-1. Nothing happened.
So hey, yeah. Listen, I pick Hidley. Maybe that's maybe the lines drive my extra annoyance with it, but the fact that Hidley can't figure out how to get a takedown against Hunter Bolin, like that match should have been 1-1 in overtime because that call is stupid. And I know, yeah, of course, I get that Hunter Bolin shouldn't have done that, but like, man. Trent didn't get close to a takedown. Like, there was no, like, oh, he's going to get this one, and they didn't get it. No, he didn't really get close.
No, he didn't. One thing that was interesting about the duel is that kind of after they lost 74 and 84, I was like, okay, Tech can't win. but they really sort of could have.
Yeah, they kind of came back on him.
They sort of
Wait,
did.
so do you not want to comment on the Hidley thing at all? Are you out on that?
Okay.
Are you shocked that Hidley can't get a takedown on Hunter Boland?
Well, I'm shocked that Hidley. No, I'm not shocked, but Hidley's year versus Boland's year, you would think he'd get a takedown. But there's a couple things at play. One, Boland could be coming around. He could be doing better. He could be wrestling back to the level he was last year, in which case Trent always had a hard time taking him down. And then there's also the fact that they've wrestled each other 5-6 times, and also Trent, he's kind of, the way he takes you down, you just kind of know, and if you can take away that thing, it's a lot harder for him to do so. So I'm not shocked, actually. I'm not shocked. And also, he didn't have to go get it because he knew he was winning. So he didn't have to go get a takedown. So it's like, well, let me just be good at defense and hand fight hard, knowing that Boland has to take me down. He's probably not going to be able to do it.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, so now at conference, though, because, man, I mean, now Boland's that's his 4th loss of the year, so he's way down there in the rankings somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Like, man, if Boland were to beat Hidley at ACCs, which, after watching that match, it's feasible.
Very
it's
feasible.
For sure feasible. It'll be interesting to see where they move Hidley down to, because Parker has 1 loss to Brooks. Amin has 1 loss to Brooks. Amin and Brooks are obviously going to wrestle again at Big Ten. So either Amin will have 2 losses or Brooks will also have a loss. And Trent right now has 0. So it'll be interesting to see where they move him if he does lose.
If Trent loses to Boland, Kekheisen wins out, Aaron wins out, I think Parker's the 2, and then Amin could be the 3 potentially.
Or the 4 if he has 2 losses.
2 losses, but if he only has lost to Brooks,
the same guy, to Aaron Brooks, yeah.
Versus Hidley, who would have a Boland loss, hypothetically. Now, I think
Yeah.
if Hidley wins out and Parker wins out, I think they should be the 2 and the 3. Fair or not to Miles Amin, I think that's probably what happens. Not Miles' fault and not how I would necessarily see it. I would probably make Miles the 2. But
Truex is also going to be in this mix.
Truex will be interesting because he missed a significant amount of time, and
He is undefeated, I guess, huh?
Yeah, his only loss
He
is to
hasn't
Mark
wrestled a
Hall.
lot.
And
Doesn't
so
count.
he will
Doesn't
basically be an undefeated conference champion.
He's got 13 matches.
he lost to Jonathan Lowe.
No, he didn't.
No, he didn't.
What am I looking at here? Oh, Hunter Boland. What am I doing? I
Yeah,
searched Bernie
Hunter
Truex,
Boland
but it hadn't
on
popped
John
up.
Lowe.
Yeah, Mark Hall. And he had a medical forfeit early. He only has.
His best win is Britt Wilson and Trey Munoz are his best wins.
Yeah,
so
I think he's not going to get a great seed. You've got to have beaten some
you've
guys.
got to have some wins. Will he have? And he's in the Pac-12, so he's not going to have any more wins except probably Trey Munoz again.
That's basically it. Yeah, that's not going to.
Yeah.
I don't see that getting him a really high. I mean, that should not get him in the top 4 or 5. I know we've seen it with some other teams and some other wrestlers in the past get a really high seed with not a great schedule, but I think you shouldn't do that here. We'll see what they do. Next up, so we're rolling through this duel, Virginia Tech, NC State, sort of. So Latona beats Camacho. He was getting to the legs consistently. He caught a cradle at one point for some near fall. But it was an exciting match. Myers beats Oreen, and then Ryan Jack, I kind of sealed it for him when he beat Colin Girardi. Then it was basically out of reach totally.
Yeah.
But the interesting match here was Wilson versus Andonian, where I'm not even going to talk about it. I want to hear what you think first about this match, Ben.
Andonian forced that thing.
He forced everything. He forced
That's what Andonian
all
does.
the points.
That's what Andonian does.
Listen, I'm not trying to say Tariq wasn't the rightful winner, but like everything was like predicated on Andonian doing something like, don't do that. But it's also the blessing and the curse of Bryce Andoni is that this guy is just going to try things. But he tried things at a point in the match where he did not have to try things.
I don't know if we can watch that last thing. He tried forcing that thing so hard.
Yeah.
So hard.
He pulled him straight on top of him.
It was, and the way Tariq's leg actually bent or was posted there, I was like, damn, is he gonna like hurt his leg? Do you guys know what I'm talking about?
Well, if
The
you're
way
talking
Tariq's leg was through there was really strange.
yeah, I know
I
what
wish
you're
we could
talking
bring
about.
it up.
We don't have it. But it was I've watched it like, man, he could have. But then Tariq, he body locks him. He goes right to where Andonia bombs him out of bounds with for no points. But it was like
For no point, they were well out.
I was surprised to see Tariq engage there. But that's one thing we said going into the match is like, listen, we know that Andonian doesn't give a rip and he just goes, but Tariq's kind of got a little bit of that in him too. He'll just go.
A little bit, yeah.
A little bit, but a little more controlled. And it ends up being a 9-3 match where you say, okay, go if you're Coach Roby and Bryce going into ACCs, if you get another crack at them, a couple little changes, and I think you'd like to see.
Are you going to say be disciplined to Bryce Andonian? And you think that's going to work?
Not be disciplined, but I think one of the big opportunities for Bryce one of the big opportunities for Bryce is, okay, if Tariq shoots, which Tariq shoots a lot, I think you could pull him up. I think you pull him up and make things a lot harder for him. I think you could counter, but if you're, I just think you don't have to force it, or you could wait for it to be a little more there. I think Bryce would probably look back and say, okay, I could do things a little bit differently here.
Yeah.
And also the momentum of the match and the stakes were really, really high. But then Ed Scott takes out Connor Brady in a match that was a little closer than I thought. Brady got that first takedown, but then couldn't really.
Ed was being a little careless with that. That little, he gets it sometimes. That the headlock he does is kind of a crappy headlock, Christian. And somehow he's like strong enough to squeeze the crap out of him and get him sometimes. But like, this was a really bad attempt and he almost got it. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah. he gets away with it. I mean, it's not even like, it's not the
He's
prettiest
got a
headlock.
squeeze and a half.
He must be, he's one of those guys got a little bit of a freaky sort of strength there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we're humming here. We've already talked about Iowa State, Missouri.
Yeah, we talked about that
at length. That was a wild one. Bedlam happened. Oklahoma State won.
Wait, it did?
Yes.
I didn't even look at that.
It did.
Well, I guess we kind of knew it was not going to be competitive. So
not.
It was more competitive than you thought it was going to be.
Keegan Moore beat Dakota Gear.
JD, we got to beat. Like, Keegan Moore's not actually bad. He's just kind of been at 7 different colleges, and John Smith is probably more than half pissed off at him now because he beat Dakota Gear.
He's never been more. He's full pissed off now.
I bet he's more pissed off at Gear.
Oh my,
JD! How did we
losing
not
to this
have
man?
Wick
You're
versus
back up.
Griffith on the How do we not have Wick versus Griffith on the?
I didn't know it was happening.
Forgot.
My
You're
bad.
into Iowa wrestling.
How about Evan Wick? Is just. I mean, he is on a rampage.
He's great.
Right now. He is.
Oh wow.
He's a destroyer.
Destroyer of worlds.
Oklahoma State only won 18-16. Oh my goodness, you guys! Let's talk about this. I didn't even look.
Well, going into it, I thought it could be pretty close. Now, I would have never predicted Keegan Moore to beat Dakota Gear.
Yes.
Not even if there's a fire.
Trying to beat Mastro. Mastro's falling apart.
No Sheets
man.
hurts. And Coach Smith said Sheets dealing with an injury. It takes a couple days to recover from, but he'll be back basically. Prada loses to Mastro. That is not a surprise based on what we saw from Mastro against Ibarra.
Yeah, Mastro's falling apart.
Not at the right time. So Oklahoma State definitely kind of limping into Big 12s, but we'll see. We've seen them look down before.
They had a terrible Big 12s last year, and then had a great NCAAs. Oh yeah,
Cyclone's about to be Big 12 champs.
Listen to you.
It's feasible.
I'm into the regular season Big 12 champs.
Whitlake lost to Zach Hartman 5-0. I remember seeing that result and being like, "Wait, what?"
That Hartman's pretty good.
Yeah, but he lost to Marinelli and Keegan back-to-back 3-2, and then he lost to Zach Hartman 5-0.
I mean, Zach Hartman would beat Keegan straight up. That's
maybe we'll see. We'll find out.
That's just the facts. So that was definitely notable. Worst kept secret in wrestling, Brady Berge to 157 happened. He wrestled some matches. We'll see what. I don't think this is a huge story other than it's a Penn State wrestler, which elevates it, I guess. We'll see what he can do at conferences. But I think that's probably, without question, his best weight class. A couple other really notable matches went down with Wisconsin. Yanni versus Gomez was pretty fun. We had
fun.
Did you watch that match?
Yeah, that throw. I couldn't believe Yanni went for that throw, and then he actually put him on his back, but then Gomez bridged through, and then somehow came on top of it. Can we play that, or we can't play that either?
We may have it. JD will look for it. But the thing is, I think Yanni had to go for it, and it was self-preservation.
Yeah.
Because he was body locked fully, but he was able to, not fully. He had one of his arm completely trapped. So he kind of went for the overhook and stepped in and kind of threw him through. It was really nice from Yanni because I think he's going to his back. And I think Gomez puts almost everyone on his back from that position.
Yeah.
But Gomez got the takedown. Did he get 2 takedowns in the match?
No, just that one.
Just that one. And then, but Yanni was he was getting the legs pretty consistently against Gomez, and he was able to finish.
Pretty easily on the leg finishes.
Well, man, the way Hamidi dominated Ramirez, man, that was a
He gritted on him.
He got the first takedown. Ramirez.
So
did.
what is this gritty that everyone's talking about? JD, you're a young kid. You tell us what's going on here because I have no idea.
It's just like a little popular dance.
So the gritty
popular dance. It's a popular dance.
Became popular.
Christian, you don't know. You're old man like me.
I know more.
I
gave you a better story than him. So the gritty was brought back to life when LSU won the college football national championship with Joe
Brought back
Burrow.
to life from what?
I don't know. It's a dance that's old, I guess. But it was brought back by Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase. I think it was Justin Jefferson. This dynamic wide receiver for LSU. And he would score, and then they would all start doing this dance called the gritty. It was really cool. And then now I guess now it's just really hot in the streets. That was like pre-COVID. This was a while ago, but now it's it's catching on. It's getting a little more fire. So now everyone's hitting the gritty, and Dean Hamidi is too. So take that, Ben. I know some things.
Wow, listen to you knowing things about dancing. I didn't, and pop culture. Good.
Look at me go. So yeah, that's what happened. But Hamidi continues to look awesome. Now, what is it? What are we looking at for Big Ten seeds?
Carcel 1, Marinelli 2, Hamidi 3.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Carcel doesn't have any losses in the Big Ten.
That's true. So Carcel
probably came a mean after that.
So man, so Hamidi should get another crack at the Bull.
Yeah.
At the NCAA, at the semis, and then we'll see. And we could get another Carcel Bull match. We'll see what Marinelli
Well, you can
has
either get Carcel Bull or Carcel Hamidi.
Yeah, I mean, I would bet on the Bull at this point, based on how that match went. But
I called the Bull winning the dual meet and then the conference and then losing in the wrestlebacks at nationals to Hamidi.
Oh my gosh!
What? I was going. Well, I'm gonna just call me the Oracle.
We'll see
what happens.
We'll see, Mr. Oracle. Okay.
Let's see. Where are your dude? Sometimes when you're ranking, when I can't find your NCAA, sometimes they get slid down a little bit on my choice.
Yeah.
It annoys me.
It annoys
I got
me
him.
as well.
I got him. We're good now.
It is an annoying thing. So other news. Grant Willits pinned Real Woods.
Oh, that was definitely a pin. People were complaining. It's a pin, bro.
Yeah. I don't know what. You're on your back. Like, not on your back, on your back.
Got the clip
like,
of this
flat for a minute. Pull it. We missed it. We'll go back and we'll pull it here. So he's in this, like a crackdown. I don't even know if it's a crackdown position.
No, not even really.
But right here, that's a pin.
Dude, he was pinned.
That's a pinfall.
That was a pin.
You can act surprised and get off your back.
Yeah, I don't know why. I don't even know why that's debatable. He was flat on his back. It was obvious. The ref was a little late to it, but the ref made the right call. So whatever.
Yeah, he was there. The thing that always gets confused is because by the time he actually slapped the mat, Real had rolled through. But that doesn't change the fact that he was calling it based on the 1 second he was there.
Yeah, he was clearly pinned.
Now, the good thing for Real Woods and Real Woods fans everywhere is that they should wrestle at conferences, and he can right this wrong.
Yes.
So that was an exciting moment. Kind of more than a couple upsets. This
Didn't Willits beat him last year also?
Who beat him last year? I can't recall.
I think it was Willits.
Wrestles.
Let's see. Yeah, Willits. Yeah, Willits pinned him at conference last year.
Oh my gosh, he loves pinning Real Woods.
And then Woods beat him in the first round of NCAAs.
That's funny.
Yeah.
So we saw the first example of the weird extra match.
Did you see this? Oh my gosh. I'm looking at Real Woods' record from last year, Christian. Did you realize Real Woods wrestled? I didn't even know this was allowed. He wrestled in the conference tournament on February 28th. And then he wrestled 2 extra matches on March 6th.
Yeah.
Was that to try to get his seed better or something?
To get the minimum 4 matches. 3 matches. I can't recall. Yes, we talked about this and I was just about to bring it up. This was like the first weird thing we saw out of the extra match gate is, wait a second, Real Woods is wrestling the same guy 2 times, teched and pinned. Listen, Jose Landon got sent out there to do one thing, right? He wasn't a 1 second injury default, but we know what's going on there. Which, I kind of give a little bit of grace because it was a dumb year for Stanford. It was a dumb year for college wrestling. All the restrictions. I was kind of like, it's not ideal. But
he gets a pass to cheat.
Hey, did you realize what just happened?
Go ahead.
Jose Landon. Well, I clicked on Jose Landon's name. UVU had a last chance open.
Yes, they did.
Okay,
yes, they did.
But this is weird. So Jose Landon loses his first match by fault to Sam Edelbut, right?
Mm-hmm.
He must have been a round robin. He then loses by medical forfeit to Warren Carr. He then beats a guy from Wyoming 7-6 in a real match, and then he loses to another Bakersfield kid lost by medical forfeit.
Yes, it's all kinds of shenanigans and
wow.
Our sport is weird, and they're letting it get weirder just by having all these. It's just a bunch of gimmicks everywhere.
Bunch of gimmicks.
My gosh, I'm tired of the gimmicks. Let's get to some questions. You guys,
let's go.
You guys hate the gimmicks as much as us. Okay. You like this?
No, but I don't hate it. Just
JD loves it. JD loves it.
Don't let the
gimmick lover.
Don't let the injury defaults go towards RPI.
Should go towards nothing.
Yeah. And winning percentage.
But I'm telling you guys, then you're gonna have dudes like forfeiting the end of matches just to not take that L. That's gonna be weird too.
Yeah. That's why you need a little more discernment. You can't let a robot computer tell you everything. It's like you need to use your eyes and use judgment and discernment. That's not as easy, but it's gonna be better.
Yes.
Okay, we already talked about the Weston barrel, about the top stalling on the Cassiopeia. I watched it live. I wasn't even thinking about it. I don't know. I was just maybe because in my mind, once Lance was on bottom, I was like, Cassiopeia is definitely going to ride this guy out. I was like, he's not getting away.
The hard part about it, and this is the exact same thing that happened with the Kirkwood Christian, is like Lance didn't even get to his feet.
Mm-mm.
And so it looks for the top man, it looks way worse when the bottom man keeps getting to their feet and they got to grind them down again. They get to their feet and they got to grind them down again. But Lance didn't even get to his feet like Kirkwood didn't get to his feet. I mean, Cassiopeia's thigh press got to be something else.
Mm-hmm. Who is the most biased for their favorite team? Burroughs for Nebraska, Ben for Missouri, Piles for Penn State, or via Bo Bartlett?
Piles.
I don't think so. I can't figure out if I'm a Penn State or an Iowa homer. It really depends. Next question. It's Ben with Missouri, by the way.
Ha! Get lost.
Man, we need to replay the NCAA predictions last year.
Oh, that was awesome. I predicted 9 All-Americans. That was so tremendous.
It was awesome then. You were riding high. You know what? I wonder what he'll do if we have an actual contest on our picks.
I know, it's hard.
I wonder who would do it. You know what we should do? We could just simply predict all our 8 All-Americans we should do it. I fill out a full bracket anyways. We should fill out our full bracket, all 8 All-Americans, and see.
We did that last year, right?
Maybe. I don't remember
I think
that
we
far
did.
back. But we should do it again and have some sort of a scoring rubric and see who gets the most right. That'll be fun. Okay, Roy Donk asking the important questions. How long are you required to stand in the middle of a mat after a loss while your opponent celebrates?
Jacob
That
Warner
is a good
waits
question.
about.
This
Jacob
is
Warner waits about half a second.
Jacob Warner's like, shake my hand. Shake my hand.
I'm gonna shake your
I'm
hand.
gonna shake your hand. But like Ramirez hung tough on Hamidi, because Hamidi went for a while before he had to take, because he celebrates, he flexes, going around. Ramirez wait, shakes his hand, and then he gritties afterwards. I think get a couple of seconds of emotion, shake the hand, and then party in the USA. Go crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, I think if they're partying for too long, you don't have to shake their hand.
Yeah.
Like there's a clock that starts, and the clock starts. It hits 5. Okay, good job. You pinned me. I'm out of here.
Yeah. Or if you can just go, give him a little pat on the back as you're running off. That's respect, right? Just let the guy. You shouldn't have to sit there while this guy's partying.
Should not have to.
Okay.
But I think guys should get the party though. Let me make sure I'm on the record saying.
Let it never be said we don't want to
This
party.
is a pro party podcast.
Yes, this
Absolutely.
is a pro party. Especially if you pin them, then you really get the party. You win 3-2, maybe not so much party. You pin them, have at it.
Yeah. I'd say there's no bigger party animals than me, JD, and Ben Askren. Has Wick taken a giant leap since leaving Wisconsin, or is he benefiting more from leaving the competition of the Big Ten schedule?
I can tell you, because I've wrestled with him so I haven't wrestled with him since he left. Well, he left for California maybe in June, but I first wrestled with him right after his freshman year NCAAs, and I could tell you it's not even close. He got way better.
He got way better since his freshman year.
Oh yeah. I mean, I wrestled him after he took it 3rd NCAAs that year, and he was just kind of like not powerful and not great in a few different positions. And then, man, by the time, like I said, I think the last time I wrestled was maybe like May or June of last year, 2021, and it was like, this dude's like really good. Like he's really strong. He's strong on his finishes. He's better in the scrambles like that. Yeah. So yes, he has gotten significantly better.
So with Evan, so as timeline wise, has he taken a giant leap since leaving Wisconsin? Well, he had not what you're saying, that was not necessarily about going to Cal Poly or leaving Wisconsin. He had gotten that much better over time, and now he's
yeah. And so
we didn't get to see him last year. Remember?
Correct. And so, but even that year where it was COVID year, he wasn't really training with Wisconsin all that much. And even in his Olympic red year, he was training with Wisconsin, but he was also taking a lot of trips and doing a lot of freestyle wrestling and stuff. So yeah, no, he's gotten a lot better. Yeah, he's gotten bigger, stronger, cleaner on the finishes. Yeah.
So I don't know. What would have been interesting is you think about what the conversation would have been if he'd have gone to Penn State and been doing all this. Because then it'd been like, oh yeah, they did it again. They just made this guy way, way, way better. But it's like, well,
that's true.
Look what happened.
Yeah.
Because that would have been
he still had a few matches
people would have pointed to.
Yeah, I mean, there's still, all right, he only beat Cam Mean 4-1. There's a Navy match that was relatively close, but yeah, overall, he's looked great this year. And I can tell you he's way better than when I first wrestled him, which was it 2018, end of 2018?
So one thing that is true, so we had the 1920 season that he wrestled in, and there was the COVID, and he didn't get to wrestle at NCAAs. Mm-hmm. But that season, Bull beat him once or twice. I'm really curious because I still feel like Marinelli is the bad matchup for Wick in the NCAAs. I still think that'll be a thing.
Because Marinelli is he's obviously really good at what he does. And it's kind of simple, but he's very, very good at it. I think so. I know Evan's gotten, and we'll see if he's able to implement, but powerful, which is a big deal, right? And that's kind of like when you look at Hamidi Marinelli, there's an absolute power differential there. And one of the reasons Hamidi wasn't able to get cleanly to Marinelli is that he couldn't win the hand fight.
Right.
And that was a big issue for him because he wasn't able to get any clean setups in. And so that Wick in the early days, like, so what I would wrestle with him in 2018-19, like his hand fight just wasn't strong, and if I wanted to shut it down, I could. Whereas when I was wrestling him in 2021, it was like, this dude's like Like, he's hard to hand fight. He's strong. He's way bigger. Like, there was just a big. I mean, it's a guy who's went from being a 19, 20-year-old to a 22, 23-year-old. There's a big difference there.
Yeah. Honestly, for Keegan, that's one of the things that I think is going to be one of his biggest detriments. Is I don't think he's weak for his weight, but I think he's
not weak.
I don't think he's weak, but I don't think he's particularly strong compared to the hand fighters and even someone like Wick. I think that could be what hinders him to an extent. We'll see, but he's got the goods.
Yeah.
Okay. What does Turk's career look like starting all 4 years at Iowa or somewhere else? He's kind of a beast. Never to have a chance at the tourney. Well, Connor, for real. He actually did. He was an NCAA qualifier. He was 2-2 in NCAAs. So that's what he did with his chance. Yeah, he is a beast. And like you see at a lot of high-end wrestling teams, there's guys on the bench that would be qualifiers elsewhere. And Turk is obviously an NCAA qualifier.
I think he's actually done here, Christian, because did you realize his redshirt year was 2016?
I mean, listen, I think my first year at Flow, I was doing Stevan Micic matches for Northwestern.
But he was 2016 redshirt, 2017 medical redshirt, 2018 he wrestled, which only qualified for NCAAs. 2019 he wrestled, 2020 he wrestled. He was actually 15-1 in 2020. And then in 2021, which was the Corona year, I guess I don't know if he wasn't on a team, but they didn't give him any matches. So
I think he went into the military.
He went into the military, apparently.
What?
I'm not joking.
Out of the military back in Iowa.
Something happened, not went bad or anything. I don't know what happened.
Wow. Did you realize in 2020 his only loss was an overtime loss to Austin O'Connor?
Yup. Crazy.
That's it. Wow.
He is a beast. He beat Kanan Storr. Medical forfeit over Thompson. Beat Keyshawn Clark, who we all think is pretty good. Yeah, he's legit. And went 2-2 at NCAAs. I believe 2-2. Cole Weaver, Kyle Shute.
That's correct. Mm-hmm.
No, this says 3-2. Beat Limix,
Shute,
and right. Weaver. Wow. So that's round of 12 then.
Yeah. So what did he do last year? I don't think he went to the military, GD, because he wouldn't just go to the military for 1 year and then be done with the military.
That's real. He went to the military. That's a fact.
Why are you done with the military in a year?
Because he didn't finish.
You can't do a 1-year contract.
He didn't finish it.
I didn't write his contract. I'm just saying. I think he went to the military for a year.
Honorably discharged to go to Iowa?
I don't know how or why he joined or left the military. I'm just saying I'm 90% sure that he went into the military in some form for a year.
Yeah, it happened. I promise. We'll try to get more details on that for tomorrow's show.
All right.
All right, let's go. Let's get the heck out of here.
That's it? We're done?
We're done.
You're cutting me?
Oh,
geez. Uh-oh.
What happened?
Oh, man. I lost my earphones. I can't hear you. So I'm out of here.
Later, Ben. Later to you. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We will be back tomorrow, Wednesday, with Shane Sparks. I know you guys can't wait for that. We will lock the door and keep Sion out. I know, guys. It'll be okay. Thank you, JD. Thank you, Ben. Thank you especially to you for tuning in. Thanks to Tyler for producing.
Shout out to my main man Kirby for getting a coaching position on the Russian team.
Say who that is.
Magomed Kurbanaliyev, world champion.
Yeah. People are going to be looking at who Kirby Puckett. Who are we talking about here? Thanks so much, guys.
Watch our film about him.
Man of the Mountains. Goodbye.